The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WZWA Network, and welcome to my review show here of XPW Halloween in Hell 4 from the Airtel Plaza Hotel in Van Nuys, California. October 29th. It's October 31st right now, so it's taken me a little while to get myself together to review this, but I have a lot to say, and I hope that anyone involved in the company will listen to what I have to say, because I think I have some helpful notes here. Okay, the proceedings start. Your party host, as per usual, Larry Legend, is there. He welcomes us to the show. You can see in the background here of this venue here, what's it called again? The Airtel Plaza Hotel. There's a lot of blank walls. And I know that they had some big posters up around the place in New Jersey and at the Derby Room. So hopefully in future they can cover those walls in some posters, because that would just add to the effect a little bit and make it look a little bit more, I don't know, XPW style. Rob Black is introduced. There's F New Jersey chants. So Rob talks about being back in the original home of XPW, and perhaps it's better for them to be there. Rob gives his usual thank yous, and he's happy as Larry, no pun intended. We get our first match underway here. Wickett takes on Mecha Wolf. Perfect opener for this show. This is what you need to open your biggest show. Wickett making his XPW debut. Mecha Wolf returning here. Literally just saw him at NWA Sarwin. So I thought, here we go. Two lucha guys, different style, bring us a different flavor on this show. Wickett, he really got some attention in the early going with his speed and his springboard to the outside. This is what you need. You need a bit of speed, a bit of oomph, bro. A great moonsault from Wickett off a ladder that was stuffed in the corner on a standing Mecha Wolf. If they brought in XPW tag team titles, which I don't believe that they're thinking about, because if they would have by now, Mecha and Bestia would be a good team to be champs. But so would, as I've been suggesting for over a year, HCLAK and Tony DeVito to reunite with Masada and get the Carnage crew there in XPW. I've pitched it again. I'm going to keep pitching it. I think that grouping would be really cool, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that a bit more later. So great stuff from Mecha. This is probably one of the best pure wrestling matches I've seen in XPW for a while. Great super athleticism from Wickett as well. We get a sit-out powerbomb on a chair, and that was probably one of the highlights of the match. These two have certainly got some chemistry. Mecha ended up hitting the mist on Wickett, then lifted him up and kicked him in midair and won the match. So I thought that was a pretty funny finish, but good start to the show. Let's keep moving forward. The second match here of the proceedings, Brandon Gatson making his XPW debut against Rob Shit. So this happens a lot in XPW. Someone just debuts cold like Brandon Gatson. But for whatever reason, you know what? When he first came out, I was like, you know what? This dude fits. He fits in with XPW. And of course, if anyone else is suited to XPW, it's Rob Shit. These dudes kept the pace going well. But one thing I wanted to say is it would be good to get some consistency with the roster. Yes, you have MAGA, you have SHLAK, you have Ludark Shaitan, you have The Body. They've been there pretty much since day dot, pretty much, as they were slowly, starting the company, building their roster, who's going to stick around, who's not going to stick around. But I would like to see a little bit more consistency with the roster. I'm thinking, where's Becky Haight? Where's Lindsay Snow? Where's Big F and Joe on this show? If anyone should be on Halloween in Hell 4, it should be him. Maybe he couldn't get booked for this one. I don't know. So I like the smack talk between the two to begin. Happy to see there's an actual ring bell and not just using a sound effect on a computer. Really loved when they went into the barricade at ringside. One thing that Larry Legend said was, look, one of our fans just ate shit, and it was Rob Shit that did it. I really was laughing again at Larry Legend, who's been a triumph on commentary. saying things like, that's that Abe Lincoln shit, that William Howard Taft wrestling, from an eye rake with boots on the floor, and that's what Larry Legend comes out with. It's that old school, is it? That Abe Lincoln shit, bro. So the first one was high flying and quick. This match here is kind of like our barroom brawl. I did also pop for the Acai shit splash by Rob Shit. Larry, you're constantly getting me, bro. I think Gatson at one stage, he had his working punches. I was like, they need some work. But then later on, they were a bit better. And he took a very cool backflip bump on the ring apron. There was a nice spot there with Rob Shit hiding under the ring. And then Gatson spears Shit through a door where they just both just slid right through the middle of that door, and the border of the door still remained. Very cool effect. Nice spot. That'll be in a highlight reel to come for many, many years. Gatson's springboard, kind of like a cartwheel moonsault over the top rope to the outside, was very impressive, but soon after, Shit hit a low blow field kick, and he got the win, as he should, because he's been there before. That's kind of old hat, really. And I was happy that we weren't inundated in deathmatch stuff too early on, because I've said this before. Night of Reckoning last year was their best show that I've seen, and I believe I gave it a 9 out of 10. Why was that show great? Because that show had different flavors. You had your high flying match. I think Juventud was against TJP or something like that. You had your sexiness, you had your hardcore, you had your death match, you had your big boys, you know, brawling together. You had so many different flavors on that show. Technical wrestling, that's what made it so good. Sometimes I feel like with XPW, and so at least in the last few months, last 5-6 months, every match seems like there's light tubes everywhere. It lessens the effect as the show goes on. I think the little flavors and the different flavors, make it better, and it makes it have more of an effect, excuse me, when like someone like SHLAK has his match, or Masada's out there, etc. That's where I think is XPW, and when they find their strengths. Excuse me for stumbling over my words. I've got a bit of cotton mouth. It is a warm day today here in Perth, Western Australia. Anyway, let's move forward. Next matchup, Terex, or T-Rex as they said sometimes, taking on the hardcore Hillbilly here. So Terex, I'm like, give him a win, please. And I'll talk about that at the end. Hillbilly coming out to Fortunate Son is a pop. He seems to cop a lot of shit here at XPW, especially from the commentary team. I don't know if they just like to pick on him a little bit, but it's fun. I laugh at the typical shoving match between the two wrestlers because they really have no reason to be annoyed at each other. Hillbilly, his strikes very weak, which was very entertaining. Terex has enough, hits him with a kendo stick, wipes him out in the head. And I'm like, you know what? I can tell Hillbilly's winning this. He's definitely winning this. He's getting his first proper win. But I really wanted Terex to win. You know, I'm just going to say it now. Hillbilly did win this match, which now makes Terex 0-7 in XPW. Give the big boy a win, because it's getting to a point where it doesn't mean anything to beat him if he hasn't beaten anyone yet. And he's been there pretty much since day dot, popping in here and there when they're in Los Angeles. Give him a win. Put him against Danny Ramirez. He embarrassed him with that tirade he gave him on the mic ages ago. He put the flag over him after he lost this match. Somehow get Terex in there and get him a nice quick win. A nice 45-second squash match, literal squash. Get him something, even over the guy that's the former referee. Come on, give him a break. He needs one thing. So this was certainly a change in style. And look, I was entertained by this. Terex missed an avalanche in the corner, head first into a steel chair. Then he went for a Samoan drop on Hillbilly, and it was just a disaster, because I'm like, someone give hardcore Hillbilly a bit more training, because his timing is off. Knowing when to hop up for that Samoan drop should be really, really elementary. I don't know where he's been trained or who's trained him, but he needs a little bit more help. E for effort, he's going out there and doing the best he can, but the guy needs help. So the timing is on so that Terex doesn't go for a Samoan drop and then clearly looks pissed off afterward because the spot was blown. He hit a choke slam on the glass on Hillbilly. I thought that should have been the finish. I liked the cannonball onto the barbed wire board on Terex in the corner. Hillbilly tried to move out of the way of Terex's standing moonsault, which is very impressive for a guy that big. But he still landed on him because there was no way he was going to get out of the way of that. There's no way. Hillbilly won't be able to roll that quick. Then Hillbilly hit Terex in the head with his helmet twice and he picked up the win. MAGA Butcher comes out to celebrate, and it's like this is Hillbilly's graduation from just being a weak lackey like what Lodi was to Raven in WCW. And then when he went out on his own, he actually started winning matches and he became a competitor instead of being a lackey. And then, of course, yes, Terex got embarrassed again by Danny Ramirez. And I'm saying, come on, give me just a little story here, a little bit of background, as we know, is from that promo from ages ago. And of course, what just happened here. Terex is a man. He's a grown man. He's not going to stand for shit like that. He's going to at least try, as any man would, to get some sort of comeuppance. Let's move forward. Dirty Ron McDonald with Evilyn Inc. at ringside taking on Damien Sace. Dirty Ron's valet in their entrance. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Laughing at Ron Nemi saying, I'm too horny of a person to. And then he just trailed off because of Evilyn Inc.'s cans hanging out. Fantastic. Cool to see Damien return to XPW. He is a veteran from Mexico's Most Wanted. Larry Legend, going to give you props again, bro. You are phenomenally different as a ring announcer. Unbelievable work, bro. Dirty Ron uses the first tube of the show. So we get this deep into the show and we still haven't seen a light tube. Very cool. I liked that. After this, you know, it'll be good to get a match that has some build up like Martini and the Body, like a match that has a story moving into it or going into it. Because at this stage, we just have had cold matches. We got our sexiness here. See, again, different flavors. Thank you, Evelyn. Good stuff. Would love to meet you. We get some nostalgia as well with Damien. But it's probably time, as I thought, as the match was wearing on, Dirty Ron has to have his losing streak be over because he's lost pretty much all year since all of the bullshit took place. Damien's top spots of the match, the suplex onto the ladder, the suplex onto the tacks. Dirty Ron threw Damien off the top. Then he hit the big elbow for the win. It was nice and quick. I like it. And I liked Dirty Ron's promo afterward. He has to cut a promo every single show because there is no character like him in pro wrestling. I liked that they went to intermission and they piled it with adverts and music videos and old footage. We get to learn a little bit about Homeless Jimmy from his time in the old XPW. And you can check out my exclusive interview with Homeless Jimmy on the Insider's Edge podcast on this channel. Just dig through the archives. I've also interviewed Ron Nemi. I've also interviewed Larry Legend and a few more that will get mentioned later on. But I thought the old Homeless Jimmy vignettes being shown, it was tremendous. I know that they were very proud of this stuff when they first shot it and put it together. And it's good that they're airing them to remind people of him and bring them up to speed if they've either forgotten or they're a new XPW fan. We get a vignette of Homeless Jimmy getting his title shot as Steve Jury is angry that Joe Dredd could not get the shot at SHLAK. And Steve Jury was literally popping me. His tie was untied. He's had a stressful day. And Joe Dredd wants a shot at SHLAK, apparently. Okay. Good start to the show. All the matches, though, have been cold. We're getting our second iteration of the Miss Xtreme 2023 contest here, hosted by Larry Legend. And you get an extreme spanking, and whoever gets the best extreme spanking wins this match. Here's where I start to have some critiques that I really hope somebody from the company will listen to. They bring out Evilyn Inc. Jesus Christ. America, she's very cute. Maddie Metal, and J Love, Meow. So they've got some good contestants here. Let's just say that. I'm laughing at Larry Legend. He's being so inappropriate, but it's appropriate for XPW. This is an alternate universe, by the way. Bring some motherfucking pussy out. Larry Legend scoping America out. I like that. Very funny. Larry Legend saying, bring another bitch out here. Maddie Metal comes out. Ron Nemi shaking that beautiful ass. Just Ron Nemi barring up at ringside. Good stuff. Larry Legend, then here comes the proceedings, right? He asks for them to take a spanking. Again, I like to happen the first time we did this contest. I feel like the ladies weren't given the appropriate direction for this to feel like it didn't fall off the rails and start to not make any sense. I think what should have happened, and this is just my opinion, maybe it's not appropriate, but I think Larry Legend should have been the one spanking the ladies, okay? I would have had them all on four corners. I would have had Larry Legend go one after the other, one spank, one shot for each lady. Let's see how they react. And I would have had a panel of judges scoring it out of 10, which would have made it way more funnier because you've gone to that much effort to make it that serious over this stupid contest where whoever gets spanked the best wins Miss XPW. And whoever wins Miss XPW should have been given a crown and a sash. That's what you have to do when you do things like this. If you're going to do it, you've got to go all out. But instead, what we got was the ladies just taking turns hitting each other on the butt. Right? I can't believe I'm talking about this on a wrestling show, but it fell apart because as I was watching as a viewer, I'm like, I don't understand how you come to deciding who wins this. Evilyn Inc., she gets on her butt and the ladies start delivering light tubes to her big tushy. It is, look, it's funny, but at the same time, also with Larry Legend saying she just received an ultra-violent green. But then all of a sudden, it's announced that J-Love was the winner of this, even though wouldn't Evilyn Inc. be the winner of Miss XPW in this beauty contest because she took tubes to her butt cheeks? Like, wouldn't you think she would win? I didn't understand how J-Love won. I don't know how we came to that decision. We didn't even get an audience vote. We didn't have judges. And I could see what Larry Legend was kind of muttering on the, he was like, he seemed like he didn't really know what was going on either. So again, he wasn't, I don't believe, given the direction necessary for this segment, because he could pull this off easy. This is bread and butter for Larry Legend, being inappropriate and funny and hosting a segment like this, leaving Ron Nemi on commentary to make his comments too and do what he does best. But again, somebody needed to be given a sash, a crown. We needed judges, and we needed to, because if you have judges, then you already control who's going to win. So if Evilyn Inc. is going to be sticking around, then she should probably be winning this, and she could be coming out with that sash and crown whilst flanking Dirty Ron during his matches. I mean, hopefully she sticks around. But I hate to say it, it was atrocious. It was atrocious. I wish I could write the segment with Larry Legend so he has clear direction. He knows exactly what's going on because he was a part of that process. And so that it did something, so that it actually achieved something at the end of the day. Because I feel like this was just put here just for the controversy and not because it was, going to do something meaningful in the future. Sorry to be critical, have to be honest. I'm always very, very, very positive with the XPW, but I have to be honest, like that just didn't hit the mark as far as I'm concerned. Sorry, I just have to pause this recording. Excuse me, I just had to take a phone call. Let's move forward. Okay, we were going so well on the show, trajectory-wise, but then we had a little bit of a bump with the the beauty contest for Miss XPW, but now we bump back up again because Eric Ryan takes on Bestia Says. So another Says on the show. The son of Damien. Again, just saw Bestia at Samhain for the NWA the day prior. One thing I was confused by, I thought Eric won the #1 contendership for King of the Deathmatch at the last New Jersey show. That's okay. Things happen. Plans change. So anyway, there are light tubes taped to every single rope here. Now we get extreme. Now we get into the tubes. Now we get into the deathmatch stuff. I think they have the right people booked on this show because there's no way you can have a bad match when you put Bestia against Eric Ryan and all the other matches prior. I mean, obviously Terex and Hardcore Hillbilly is not going to be a 5-star Dave Meltzer classic. Like anyone gives a shit about them anyway. But you know, it was still entertaining and a different flavor. But these are a lot of cold matches, I'm just saying. But you know what? One thing, at least the microphone issues weren't prevalent on this show. They seem to be doing fine with the microphone. Good chain wrestling early on, despite the type of match. I thought that was a nice touch. They traded tubes. It's a typical death mess. They traded pin attempts. And it was all back and forth here, but then Eric Ryan reversed a Hurricane Rana into a pin to win. Most of the tubes actually remained. It was almost a waste to set them all up. Coming up next, the match that actually, I think this is the only match on the show that actually has some sort of real a build up to it. Ludark Shaitan, Cat Martini against the Body and the Hardcore Homo Angel making his return to XPW. First note, Ludark in New Jersey a few months ago, you wore this sexy outfit that showed, I think maybe it shows your midriff a little bit or whatever. It was such a cool outfit, and you've gone back to your cargo pants and all that. Where's the sexy gear? I really like it. Cat enters, hubba. She is a babe, bro. Okay. Get over it, Carl. The Body comes out. He needed to cut a promo here, though, to remind everybody what this was about and how we arrived here. That's what the Body did to get himself over with his audience. He was cutting those promos. He was good at them. They were very entertaining and unpredictable. So seeing Angel back was cool. The last time I saw Angel wrestle that match with SHLAK, I thought that match was not good at all. And I'm somebody that's really hard to displease, you know, like I thought Terex versus Hardcore Hillbilly was a fine match, despite some of the issues that they might have had in there. But I thought that the Angel SHLAK match just had no direction whatsoever. So I was hoping for better this time, to see better for Angel. I did laugh at Body running up and cuddling Angel during his entrance. Another question, what happened to Mr. Fantastic? I thought he was the Body's guy. I guess the influx and outflux of talent is kind of a little different here. And another question, bro, I mentioned Masada, I mentioned Becky Haight, I mentioned Big F and Joe and Lindsay Snow. Did I already say Lindsay Snow? Tessa Blanchard. Oh, no. Where was she? Don't tell me she's gone too. I don't know. It's hard to keep up with like the ins and outs with XPW of who's there and who's gone and for what reason. Alex Colon is gone. I think someone kind of explained to me that he wrestled for a company that maybe Rob didn't want him to wrestle for. I don't know. But people keep on dropping like flies here with XPW. I want to see some consistency again. But geez, it's a shame that Tessa was not on the show. Anywho, did laugh at the spot with the ladies exposing the bottoms of the boys. Ludark getting thrown into the crowd was cool. Angel stomping Cat down in the corner was cool. Followed by the Bronco Bust with his ass hanging out. This is ridiculous. Ludark DVDing Body into tubes in the corner. Great tarantula from Ludark. When Ludark and Angel got the chance to work together, that's where we got some nice work, some nice in-ring work. I would actually be keen to see those two have a singles match. Body ended up throwing lubrication to Angel's eyes by accident. He gets put through a table on the outside. Then Body is beaten by the ladies clean after a sit-out double underhook kind of face buster onto tubes by Ludark. I thought Angel didn't get to do enough. The body loses clean, and apparently now he's fired from XPW, so I don't know where this leads to. Unless there's somehow a way that they're going to have a singles match soon. I thought to myself, you know what? Cat's had this TV title for so long now. I think the story with the TV title needs to end soon. I don't know if Chaos's old TV title reign, there's a certain amount of days and maybe they want to beat that, but Cat seldomly defends the title. When she does, it's against like Danny Ramirez or whatever. I do feel like if you want the belt to go somewhere, that you need to have like someone who's really an active competitor win the belt and start defending it and putting stories toward it. So like, look, here we go again. This was okay. It was entertaining, but again, I was a tad confused. Again, this is about direction. I don't know where we go from here. I felt confused by the result of all this. And we're going to keep on down that road as we continue on with this review. Coming up next, MAGA Butcher with MAGA taking on Judge Joe Dredd with Stephen Jury. Another mention, Patrick Hernandez, the referee. Where is he? Is he no longer a referee in XPW? It's been a while since I've seen him. I think we need some more experienced referees on these shows. Just being perfectly honest. Because there have been some problems with the referees on this show. People not counting when they're supposed to count, not getting down for the count quick enough. Judge Joe Dredd. Dude, where is the judge get up? Where is the gavel? You brought it out later on. You got to keep the gimmick going. You can't keep just coming out wearing just a shirt and tights. You got to keep the Judge Joe Dredd gimmick going. You've got Stephen Jury there with you. Butcher got overwhelmed early, and then Joe Dredd's knees buckled trying to slam him. Then he hit 3 scoop slams in a row. I hate to be negative like this. I see Joe Dredd making such a concerted effort. I just feel like he's missing something to make himself seem legit. Maybe it's a big win. There's other things I'm going to bring up later. Like Joe Dredd went for a senton and pretty much missed it. I don't know what's going on here, but I feel like every time he tries to do certain things, it just misses the mark. The timing's just a little bit off. I don't know if it's just happenstance. It just happened to be that way. And maybe he's frustrated thinking, geez, usually I hit that. By the way, when Jasmine St. Clair is out there at ringside, we need more shots of her. We need more shots of her reactions close up. She's gorgeous, bro. She is very good looking. I need to see her on the screen more. She's always in the background, very far away. The only time I got more of a shot of her was when she was hitting Stephen Jury with a kendo stick later on. You need to get tight shots in of her. That's the whole point of her being there. You're paying for her to be there as a manager. You're also paying so that the fans at home can feast their eyes on the gorgeousness that is Jasmine St. Clair. More tight shots of her and her reactions, not over the top. Don't take away too much from the match, but 4 or 5 times. You know, if it's a 20-minute match. If it's less than that, okay, 3 times. You just need a little, I don't know. Whoever's on the headset backstage needs to be telling the cameraman, shoot this, shoot that. I know it's not a massive production there, so I'm sorry if I'm a little bit too critical. Dredd was dominating MAGA Butcher. Then Necro, grabbed a pencil and he just goes at it. That constant stabbing with the pencil in the head. Again, the show is literally all cold matches except Cat Martini and Body's story. At some stage, Larry's commentary dropped out. This is okay. I got a massive problem with this. I have a massive problem with this. MAGA hit a crossbody off the top rope, and I'm like, who's this dude commentating with Ron? Who was that guy? I don't know who he was. It wasn't Larry Legend, but I was thinking to myself, who is this guy commentating with him? Ron did his best, but I'll be honest with you. He started chiming in later on, and I'm like, go away. I don't know who you are. Go away. What are you doing? This is This makes no sense. Just let Ron do it by himself if Larry's not there. Why is someone else just suddenly hopping in on commentary? I don't know whose decision that was, but whoever made that decision, don't do shit like that. It makes no fucking sense. That's probably the first time I've ever got angry during an XPW review. Don't do shit that doesn't make sense. I expect that shit from someone like Tony Khan. Come on. Anyway, sorry for getting a little bit heated there. MAGA Butcher locks in the American Spike, not Asiatic Spike, and he wins the match. I have to be honest, okay? Again, oh, I hate being like this. I hate being negative like this. That match was fucking terrible. It was fucking terrible. When MAGA Butcher's out there, he needs to work with someone that is going to accentuate his strengths and hide his weaknesses. He's an older man now. Someone needs to bring a good match out of MAGA Butcher. Okay, SHLAK does it. Masada's done it. You need people out there with him when he's at that stage of his career to make him look good. Okay, they need to be doing most of the movement. They need to be. The timing was off here with them too. Okay, I am so sorry to Judge Joe Dredd. I see you have potential as a character. You have fire when you talk, when you cut a promo. As a performer, I see the potential. But you, I am sorry. I can't believe I'm saying this. And it's okay, I do say this because I used to be a wrestler for 18 years. You need to get some more training. You need to cut about 20 pounds and get in better shape because you're stuck in the mud there. You need to keep those traits that make you the judge. You need to get into the character. Now is the time to improve yourself because I thought your performance at Tournament of Death 20 was really not great. And you could hear the audience react to it that way. And I think, I'm sorry again, you gave MAGA Butcher an absolute shit match here. This match had no direction. I don't know what the match plan was, but it just did not work, bro. It did not work. If XPW want to have great shows, they need to look at the template of Night of Reckoning last year. Keep looking at that template. Keep studying that template. Continue what you're doing with intermissions here, where you're piling it full of footage and old stuff and all that. I like that. You've improved with that. But you really need to look at the template of things that worked, okay? And I'm going to keep going on about this stuff when we get to this main event here. SHLAK defends, I think it was the XPW King of the Deathmatch title, but it might have been both, the heavyweight title as well. He takes on XPW's own veteran from back in the day, Homeless Jimmy. Very happy to see him back. This is what I've been hoping for, to see some more of these, you know, old school XPW guys in the company, just so it has that more legitimacy about it. But this show started off so well and it just went off the rails with its direction, with me feeling like I don't understand what's going on. I should never, as a fan, as a viewer, feel confused and furl my brow and be like, what is going on? It should really, people need to be spoon-fed this kind of thing, because if a fan like me, who's educated, who's been in the wrestling business somewhat as a weekend warrior, but I've been, you know, in this thing for quite some time, if I'm having a hard time digesting it, imagine what a dumb person and how difficult it is for them to digest. So if the smart mark in me is having a hard time digesting it, again, a dumb person's going to have a more difficult time. And as we know, a lot of wrestling fans are pretty thick. Let's be perfectly honest, okay? Anyway, it's a sight I never thought I'd see. Homeless Jimmy, again, my interview with him on the Insider's Edge podcast on this channel. SHLAK, Masada, Big F and Joe, Cat Martini. I've interviewed a lot of people from this company, and they're all fun interviews. Also, Shannon Hunter, who kind of helps out there at XPW. That's the latest one that is up, and that is probably one of the most interesting stories I've heard of anyone's time in pro wrestling. Let's get back to this match, okay? Stop plugging shit. I'm like, I hope this main event can bring us back to how we began this show. This show was great till Dirty Ron and Damien. And of course, Eric, Ryan, and Bestia was all right. But after that, this show totally lost its direction and it's become confusing, brother. I'm thinking to myself, and I hate to say this, but hire me, get me to consult or something. I don't know. I think the writing of the show needs help. It doesn't help as well. I don't have the context of it, but I don't know what the situation is with people coming and going so much. Masada and Big F and Joe should have been on this show, probably against one another. I don't know if Masada was booked and then he ended up not making it. I don't know. I don't know if Big F and Joe was booked, but they couldn't make it. Again, context is king. Anyway, let's get back to the match again. SHLAK attacks Jimmy from the outset. Great belly to belly by SHLAK on Jimmy. Jimmy ate shit on a dive to the outside and pretty much landed on his head. Good to see SHLAK choke him just to see if he's okay. I can tell these little things. Jimmy was getting destroyed early on. Great selling from Jimmy. He was selling the exhaustion well. I love that part where he just all of a sudden had this burst of energy and this flurry on SHLAK to try and, just get out of the funk that he was in at this stage. Great leg drop off the ropes from SHLAK on Jimmy. So the match was all right, Jimmy pulled SHLAK off the ring apron pretty much through an actual table, not a door. I think it was supposed to be kind of like a DDT, but he more so just like sacrificed himself and dragged SHLAK off the apron through the fucking wood. I don't know what happened with Jimmy's Hurricane Run off the top rope, but he hit very hard. They just didn't have their balance, but at the same time, were the ropes tight enough? I don't know. I kind of feel like people kind of struggled on the ropes in this show. Great suplex onto the shopping cart there by SHLAK, but here we go. This is where, okay. Eric Ryan shows up, misses SHLAK with some tubes, doesn't seem to care either way. Jimmy copped it in the head, and then SHLAK won the match. Was not a fan of the finish. Joe Dredd then gets in there with his gavel, and I'm like, why would you? You just lost to Butcher. You have no right to even try and get a title shot. He should be dejected backstage. He shouldn't be waltzing himself out there to throw his name in the hat. Then Butcher shows up clearly wanting a shot. They want a four-way maybe at the next show. And I'm like, am I interested in seeing that? I'm pretty sure I've seen SHLAK beat all three of these guys. We need to give SHLAK a formidable opponent, someone that we truly believe could beat him for this title or both titles. Because if it's me and I do this four-way, I'm doing something different. I'd have MAGA Butcher win the belt because the guy's put in so much hard yards into the company in the last couple of years. I'd have him win the belt, and that would be a nice thing for him. I know SHLAK's on this hell of a run, but when you do it for this long, it's got to get to a point where we got to start doubting whether or not SHLAK can keep retaining it, because you need to put him in a situation where we at least have questions. I didn't think Jimmy was going to win this match. I don't think Eric Ryan, and I certainly don't think Joe Dredd are going to win this belt off him. SHLAK's already beaten Butcher a couple of times, I believe. I know SHLAK and Masada have had a thing in the past, and this is what I would do. I'm just going to throw it out there. So me saying this now means it won't happen, because if it does, then it'll be like, well, they just used that wrestling fan from Australia's idea. So I guess it's not going to happen, but I bring Masada back, targeting SHLAK, wanting his belt. I'd have Tony DeVito and HC with him in tow. SHLAK's now got to deal with these three guys. Whether or not he tries to find some backup, I don't know. But might be something interesting there. I'd like to see, again, more consistency with the roster. You have such potential here. But again, I think the direction of the show is continually going off the rails lately, and we need things to be a bit more concise, easier to digest. That's what I would do with SHLAK. I'd do same with him and Masada. I'd have it build for quite some time, and I'd have the big blow-off match be exploding barbed wire death match. But it's got to be done correctly. You can't fuck that up. Other than that, I don't know. We need a real angle, something interesting for MAGA Butcher and Mega MAGA to do. They haven't done anything or had a feud since that Masada and SHLAK thing that they did some time ago. where they had Atticus Kogar or whatever come in. Ludark needs to have a proper story with her title. I was hoping that was going to continue on with Tessa Blanchard. I think Kat Martini needs to drop that television title. You know, maybe Homeless Jimmy might be someone who would be good for something like that. If you're going to keep him around, which I certainly hope you do. Looking through the rest of my notes here to see what else I could come up with. I don't know. It's kind of difficult because a lot of these guys on the roster have just come and gone a little bit. So I apologize for keep going on and on here. But again, we're starting to lose direction here. Let's get back to basics. Let's get back to a basic roster. Let's try and get some stories going and keep them going. Let's not keep on kicking people to the curb because they took a booking elsewhere. Come on. Come on. It's only hurting your company by doing that. As far as I'm concerned. Like, who cares if someone took a booking with this company that you don't like? They need to make money, bro. You're only putting on one show a month. If that, one every 5-6 weeks, who knows? I don't have the numbers in front of me. But let's stop being petty with that stuff. Let's have people stick around. Alex Cologne should still be there. I don't know where Masada is. I don't know where Big F and Joe is. I don't know what's going on with any of this because there's, you know, I don't have access to that information. But again, there we go. Rating out of 10. You see, we're off to such a hot start, and it's hard for me because I did enjoy the show, but I felt frustrated towards that last half of the show. This pains me. This pains me. I have to give it a 6 out of 10. I'm sorry. I can't believe it. I said 6 out of 10 for an XPW show. It's my favorite company. I'm sorry. It's just, after a while, it just, I need a bit more. I need more focus, direction. When it falls off the rails like that, you start to lose me. Don't lose me. Keep me invested. I need to be on the edge of my seat. I want there to be cliffhangers to end the show. I want just to not know what's coming next. These were all cold matches where you could pretty much tell who was winning each match. What XPW is great with and has always been known for is to be unpredictable, to be, you don't know what it's going to be like or what's going to happen next. XPW is like Guns N' Roses in the early 90s. When you see a concert of theirs, the element of danger's in the air. That's what I want from XPW. There we have it. I'm sorry. Karlifornia, WZWA Network. Love you, XPW. Hopefully things will pick up a little bit better toward the end of the year. I'm sure when you have your Christmas show. Again, thank you for your time, everyone. Sorry for the criticism, but when I feel it, I got to finally say it. For 2 and a bit years, I've been pretty much 95% positive. Now I got to start really putting out my critiques out there. Thank you again. See you down the road.
Network, that's the way we play. Good God Almighty. Network, that's the way we play. Get puppies. Network, that's the way we play. Get.
The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.